Welcome back everybody. In this video we're going to be looking at possibly the first ever Game Boy cookbook. Now I created this for Halloween, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how it works and also some tips for if you were going to be creating a text-based project in GB Studio as well. So if we jump right in, unfortunately there's no music. If I was to do this again or make one again in the future, I would definitely add some music. I would probably add some more decoration around the title as well. It actually took a surprising amount of time to complete this project. I had quite a lot of fun researching the recipes, and obviously I was inspired by some recipes that were already online, and then I just changed them slightly for this. But what I've really learned from this is how difficult it is to have a lot of text in GB Studio. So if we jump into this spicy cupcake recipe, then we'll see we have the ingredients list, and when I originally planned this, I would have wanted the ingredients and the method to be all in one scene that you scroll through. But I tried that and it was over 400 unique tiles, and GB Studio only allows for 192. So I had to break it up into the steps of the method. So if we click through here, you can see it goes down to number 9 down here, and I'm using the arrow keys to get down there. And so by doing it this way, we've reduced the amount of unique tiles, and I'll show you how I actually made all this very shortly. So each time you go next, it takes you to the next method, and then when it asks you, would you like to exit the recipe, the first option is no, just in case you accidentally press next and you didn't want to, and then you were clicking fast and you press no again, so that you don't go back to the very start and have to click through it all the way again. So that's a good quality of life change I made. So if you click yes, you can obviously scroll through to the other 2 recipes. There's only 3 recipes in this whole cookbook, and I'm glad I kept it small to start because it was a surprising amount of work, like I said. So if we back out, I can take you to how I actually did this. So the first thing I obviously did was create a Google Doc where I stored the recipes and edited them and thought about them. And then what I did was I created the font, and I've obviously put this purple in here as well, which is what the variable width font of GB Studio uses. And so with this, I was able to, copy and put this onto the actual font in the game. So if we go into GB Studio here and we click on this info, if we scroll down to where the text shows, you can see it uses the same text, the same font that I'm using in these scenes where I've created the method and the ingredients. And obviously that's just for consistency's sake, and obviously it makes it look a bit more professional as well. So with this, what I did was I opened up Tiled, and I used this Halloween font here. Every time you export or overwrite the file that this is using, it will update almost instantly. So what you can do is remove this purple and then bring it back in once you've placed all the text. And this is what the placed text looks like. So as you can see, every 8x8 tile has a letter in. So this is what we call monospaced, right? So this takes up way more space, but technically I would be able to have the entire ingredients list and method list in a scene with this, as long as it wasn't beyond the physical size limit of GB Studio. I mean dimensional size. So for example, the scrolling height of the thing. So I didn't really want that because I wanted it to be more readable. When you have the text like this, arguably it's not very readable. So what I did was I then took it back into GIMP and I dragged and placed all of the text over to fill over the purple. So for example, if I was to do it here, I would be moving this over there, and what it does is reduce the space, and the purple lines means it's easy to see where I need to stop bringing it over, right? Basically this was very, very labor intensive, and you may be wondering, why didn't I just write it out? If I attempt to do that, so I've chosen a font called Calibri, which is a classic one. And if I now type out, this is obviously in size 7, in order to fit in the 8x8 tile. So if I type out what the recipe says, 350, you can already see the problem here. I can obviously increase it in a second to try and make it better, but Okay, so I've typed it out, and obviously that was way quicker than dragging everything over and also in tiled placing everything. But now I can try and show you why I didn't do this. So if we increase the size, try and match it with the text there, it's still blurry, right? So obviously I've turned off hinting, but maybe if I turn it back on. So it's on full hinting versus no hinting, still there. And obviously I can imagine different fonts will be better or worse for it, so let's try it in bold. It's kind of bare, but it's still blurry. Obviously the real test is when you zoom out, and that is readable, but I would question whether my font is more readable than this or not. But it may be worth it. It may be in the future, just to save on time, this might be worth it, right? But obviously it's not perfect, and different letters will look different depending on whereabouts they were placed. I would definitely want to put my font into the font thing and type out this. So I'm hoping that in my next video I'll be able to show you how to do that, so that we all don't waste time doing what I did. So stick around if you want to see that later in the week, I hope. Now, if you're wondering why I put it on the background image rather than having it in these bits here, is because I wanted to be able to scroll through the text and see more of it. If I try this, I'll obviously take a minute to build, but I don't think this even works. I think it's limited to 3 lines, but if I'm wrong, I'd be glad to be wrong. Okay, so it's just loaded. So if we look in info, seems to be frozen. I've actually never tried doing that before, so it may be that it just is broken. So I'll try one more time. Okay, here we are again. Let's check with the recipe still work. Yep. Credits still work. Yep. Now info. Oh my god. I actually didn't know that happened. But it seems like there is a limit to it because it didn't work the first time. And obviously it's not ideal either, because you would want the player to be able to control the scroll rather than it automatically scrolling. But it's pretty good to see that that actually does work. It may be that the limit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of text on the screen at once. So obviously that isn't ideal, because we have recipes with, I think, possibly 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines. So yeah, it wouldn't be perfect, so I would have to either shorten the step or split them into more steps, which could still be a thing, but if you're going to write a story, you don't really want every sentence or paragraph or every short paragraph to be split up and chunked off, right? I hope this was informative, so I'll put my patrons up on screen right now. Thank you so much to you guys. You guys are the best. I'm very sorry I haven't posted much lately. I had an awful cough. You might still hear it in my voice slightly. I've also been having troubles with my computer. Luckily, I think I've sorted it for now, but I'm thinking I'll have to get another one soon, unfortunately. But yeah, remember to like the video if you liked the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought of this video, if you thought it was helpful, what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next video.